Hello guys and welcome to the course. Today we are going to be officially starting with Git and it's the first video. By the way, if you haven't seen the other video where I talked about what are the contents of this course, so if you haven't checked that out, you should check that out if you want to get a overview of what we are going to cover in this video. Okay, secondly, I wanted to say if you have any queries related to the course or related to what I am teaching, or even if there are any improvements or if things you don't understand, please feel free to write them down in the comment section. I will make sure I resolve your comments, and also if you know answers to some comments, you can reply to them and answer. That'd be really great. Other than that, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram or LinkedIn, please feel free to text me or DM me over there. I'd be happy to help you. So without wasting any further time, let's get into the video. So let's talk about what are the objectives for today, what all things we will be covering in this video today. So first, we will be understanding what is Git in general, a high level overview. Then we'll see what are the things which Git is helping us and why should we use Git. So there are many reasons. We'll also be seeing the use cases for Git, where it is used and where you should use and places it has been used, right? Lastly, we will talk about Git versus GitHub, which is also an important thing because many people I've seen, they get confused between Git and GitHub. They feel it's kind of like the same thing. No, but that is not the case. So we'll be clearing the difference between them in this video. Okay, so what is Git? Okay, so it is a version control system. Now, if you also go to the Git official page, over there they have also written it's the most popular version control system, right? If you check the docs, if I remember. Anyways, so okay, what is version control system then? Okay, what does it means? So I will be explaining this with an example. Okay, let's consider a simple example. We have played game, haven't we, in our life? I hope you have. So a game would have levels. Okay, any game, consider that it is having some levels and you're playing. So suppose it is levels like this. Okay, I know this is a lame example, but bear with me. So suppose we are playing a game and we have levels kind of like this. So suppose I'm playing level 1. If I clear that, I go to level 2. If I clear level 3, I go to level 4. Oh, I'm such a pro. But what happens, like suppose when I'm playing the level 5, if I mess up or if I do something stupid and die, what would happen? Okay, what would happen? I wouldn't go back to level 1, right? I would neither go back to some other level. Okay, so I would basically go back to my previous checkpoint which I've made. So level 4 was the last cleared stage that I had, so I would return to level 4 in this case. So Git, as a overview, it helps us to create these kind of checkpoints. Okay, we can manually create these checkpoints, and in future, if you want to come back to this checkpoint, or if we have messed something up, if we want to revert to this version, this is going to help us. So we manually create these checkpoints and we can revert back to. So even in a game, if I'm on, let's say, 100th level or 200th level, I can definitely come back over here on the level 2 and I can play that level 2. So similarly in Git, you can come back to your project. So again, you have a project. When you're building out a project, you make these checkpoints. This is a version control for a project. So if you want to go back to any level of your project, you can come back to that level and check out the state of your project. Okay, even if that is going top of your head, suppose it's just like this, a checkpoint system that helps you to come back to stage. You can visit this like that. Or even if you have seen, if you have downloaded any application, a popular application, it has a version associated with it, right? 5.0.2 or 5.0.1. So what are these? These are versions, right? And how is this possible? This is possible using Git, and you can download previous version as well, right? If you want to move to the older version, you can move, right? Why is that happening? That is because of Git. So I hope you got the overall aspect of how what is Git. This is not just the version control, It also has many other things that we'll discuss in the next slide. So yeah, how does Git helps us? So first we thought revert to previous version. So whenever we are making a project, we create checkpoints like this. All right, what are these checkpoints technically called? We'll be talking about that later, but let's just understand. So suppose I am working on a project. I'm making checkpoints. Okay, I made an navbar, I made this feature or something like that. I'm creating checkpoints whenever I'm moving forward with my project. Now suppose I mess my projects up. Let's say I deleted some files accidentally, and I removed some piece of code which I didn't want to, and now what should I do? If I've created a checkpoint, I can move back to definitely to that. I don't have to start my project from scratch. Okay, so yes, I can revert back to previous versions. Secondly, it helps us to track changes. So you would probably use Git with bunch of other peoples. So if you have a team of 4 or 5 or even 100 members, you need a place where you can track all the changes. So Git also helps us to track changes. Third, it also helps us to compare different version of the project. So version 1 and version 2, we can compare what are the changes, what are the file changes, something like that. Even if you are not understanding what is this, we will be doing this all in the course, so where you get a clear idea of this. All right. Fourth, it helps us to collaborate. Obviously, Git is used for collaboration. Git and GitHub both hand in hand, so it helps us to collaborate. And 5, you can share your piece of code or piece of project with the Git to others, and you can combine. Okay, let's say that's actually like the collaborate thing as well. So let's say I'm working on my own project. This is my personal project. Someone else saw my project and he says he want to contribute. He made some changes. He can combine his thing to my thing. All right, so that's what combining is. We'll talk about this if it's going on the top of your head, but yes, this is how Git is going to help us. Okay, the world's most popular VCS, version control system, is Git, and let's see its use cases where it is used these days. So the first most common use case is the coders, the engineers or tech, or people like us who are into software field, or web developers, basically coders in general, right? So yes, for us, Git is like, yeah, very popular. We use Git daily. Then big tech companies like Facebook, Netflix, Google, Amazon, these guys also use Git in their code bases. Small startups, even if you have a small team, Git is widely used over there as well. It can be a personal side project as well. I'm working on a project, I want to use Git. Yes, I can definitely use. Then writers and authors, this is also a new field that I've seen. Like, people are using Git for writing, and authors, like people make textbooks and all that to store the versions of different textbooks. They're using Git, which is pretty cool, and that's a new use case that people are, even scientists are using when they are doing some research or any paperwork. Git is used. So there are like different areas now which the Git is going to. Many people are using Git in their projects, and even designers and many. So the Git, this thing is spreading like fast, and people are getting to know how it can help them collaborate. So yep. Okay, lastly, let's talk about Git and GitHub, Git versus GitHub. So we saw, okay, Git, we know is that it's a version control system. So it is there on your system. Okay, I have it locally. Let's say I have a project, I have made it locally, I have Git in it, I've made a bunch of checkpoints. Now it is just locally with me. So what GitHub does is that GitHub provides a hosting for your repositories. What are these repositories? I will talk about that later. But suppose it's your entire project, all of this code, all of everything, you can host that to the GitHub so that other people can see your code and collaborate and contribute. Okay, so from your local thing, it will go through your thing. So it's basically like this. So suppose if I have made a bunch of commits or checkpoints, in my project. So this, suppose this is my entire project. Okay, now this is locally, right? It is locally. With GitHub you can push this, or you can host this on the GitHub where other people can access. So what is a common GitHub workflow? So suppose this is a project that we just hosted on GitHub, so it is there on GitHub, people can see. So suppose these are the three people, Phoebe, Rachel and Joey, let's suppose. Okay, now what they can do, they can take your project and clone them, or they can download them in their PC, computer, Mac, whatever it is. They can download them, and then from there they can make changes in their machine, and then they can again merge them to your original repository. So this is how multiple people can collaborate in a single project. Okay, this is like the common workflow that you would see. So that was it for today. This was a pretty light lecture. If you have any queries, any things, as I mentioned earlier, you can feel free to write them down in comment section, or you can reach out to me as well. So I hope you like the video, and thanks, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.